Good morning from day 29. As you can see, I'm bundled up in my sweatshirt and hat because it is a cold morning, also wet. Slept in my tent with the rain fly on. We were near a river, and so there was condensation, so my sleeping bag got wet, which has happened the last couple nights. It's been, I think, humid and just a lot of condensation. I didn't talk hardly at all yesterday because I was hiking with the others all day. I didn't hike by myself at all. So for Whitney, if I didn't say already, Jocelyn, Vicky, Cole, and I, none of us cared to wake up at midnight so we can get to the top for the sunrise. Just no interest in messing up our sleep schedule, in being freezing cold at the top that early in the morning, etc. So Vicky actually woke up early and started hiking a little bit earlier, and same with Jocelyn. Me and Cole started hiking around 4, caught up with the others about halfway up the climb where it started getting steep, and then we all finished the climb together, got to the top by 8:30, just taking it really nice and slow so that the breathing and altitude didn't really affect us. Hung out at the top for a little bit, it was beautiful, and then came back down, hung out at one of the small little lakes partway up the climb, and then got back to our tent site where we rested for a couple hours, and then we all felt good, so we kept hiking another 4.5 miles to where we camped last night, which I hiked with Cole this 4.5 miles, so again, wasn't really alone to talk. And then by the time we got to camp, it was only like 6:30, but it was filled with mosquitoes, and so we all set up our tents. We had all 4 of our tents within like 10 feet, within like a 10 feet square section. Set up our tents and stayed in our tents for the rest of the night because to be safe from the mosquitoes. So in those last 4.5 miles from our campsite for Whitney to the campsite from last night, I don't even think I filmed at all, just because we kind of were just, me and Cole just kind of put our heads down, we're talking, and just determined to get those 4.5 miles done. So anyways, it is 5:45 this morning. We have a river crossing in 3.5 miles. That should be nice and freezing, unfortunately. But it is best to get the river crossings done early when the water's at its lowest. We had 2 river crossings yesterday afternoon before we got to camp, but they were knee deep or less and pretty safe, as should be this one in 3.5 miles. Just more, the time of day is best for safety, but horrible for the cold. But I'll show you all the river when we get there. This scenery here reminds me so much of the Uintas in Utah. When you're nearing above tree line, and it's just rocky, grassy meadows as you approach a pass. This is just so beyond incredible. It's amazing to believe that I can be out here experiencing this. First bit of snow on Forester Pass. I can go that way, or I can just walk around. Here's a little snowfield. We're at the pass, getting up to the approach to Forester Pass. Obviously not bad at all. Most of the snow is melted. For reference, it's June 27th on a slightly below average snow year with a above average melting rate for the year. I am just reached the official beginning of the approach trail to Forester Pass. So we've been climbing all morning. We camped, I don't know, somewhere between 7 to 8 miles from the pass, and we've been ascending all morning. But the official approach trail begins 1 mile from the pass, and we'll climb 650 feet. I told Vicky and Jocelyn I'd wait for them at the approach so that we could do the last mile together. So I'll just sit here, eat some quinoa, read my book, and rest up for the last mile.
Really feeling great.
Let me know if you want me to take photos of y'all. Want a signed photo, whatever. I have a tripod too.
Did you say?
Yeah, I like it. That's so sick. Oh my god. This photo, bro, is that photo? Sign.
On our way down from Forester Pass. It is the highest point on the PCT. So yesterday Whitney is the highest mountain in the continental US. Forester Pass is the highest point on the PCT at 13,000 something. I think 400 feet, 200 feet, something like that. Because the year we've had, not a lot of snow, so it's actually pretty easy, just a few soft slushy snow bits on the way down. But so far so good. I know, I'm already psyching myself.
That's what I did. You just go. You got this.
I just did something that I never thought I would do, and honestly, not quite sure I enjoyed it in retrospect. So we came down off Forester Pass about 1.4 miles, and there was this really clear, pretty little tiny lake that was deep. It was at 12,182 feet, and Vicky, Jocelyn, and Cole jumped in. So I don't know how anyone enjoys cold plunging. It was so freezing, and I did not feel more rejuvenated or alive or whatever everyone claims. But now I can say I jumped into a lake in the High Sierra at least. Also, the views are slowly decreasing. There's two fires not close enough to be life-threatening. One's a controlled burn, and one is, I think, uncontrolled. We're not sure about the second one, but either way, the smoke is blowing into the area, and so we're starting to smell smoke in the air. You can see how hazy it's getting. Hopefully just smoke blowing our way. Go away. Last mile to camp, and we're gaining 817 feet in 1 mile. Just gotta keep telling myself slow and steady, and also doing this today means I won't have to do it tomorrow morning. Then we'll have, I think, about 8 miles or less to get to the trailhead and get to Chad. See you on the other side. This mile is making me so angry, but I only have 0.2 miles left. The reason why it's so steep is that we are making it about a third to a half the way up of Glen Pass. So another mountain pass. Like I said earlier, Forester is the highest, so every pass after this will be lower elevation, but still have their own difficult ascents. But yeah, we're going a third to the halfway up Glen Pass, and then there is a side trail that will take us off the PCT to Kearsarge Pass and into Onion Valley Trailhead. So to get into town, we have to do a 7.6 mile side trail off the PCT, which is the same side trail we have to do in reverse to get back on. But that's why this is so horrible. Finished up day 29. The last mile, as you heard, was very, very rough, but we are here. Tent is set up. We are changed out of clothes. Today we did 17.1 miles and about 4,000 feet of climbing. We went from a tent site at 772.4 to a tent site at 789.5. It's the last tent site before the junction. I'm going to Bullfrog Lake Trail, which is the trail we're going to take to get out Kearsarge Pass and get into town. Today and yesterday were probably my favorite days on trail. Forester was definitely, if I didn't say this about Whitney, it's the same thing, but Forester was definitely easier than I ever thought it would be. It is, it's high ascent, but it's very, very gently graded, so it's not ever really hard. Although it did help that we only had a day left of food, and weren't doing this with the beginning of a food carry, but very, very easy on the going northbound on the ascent. Wasn't any snow patches. Coming southbound, there were a couple snow patches, or going on the south side, south slope, there were a couple mushy snow patches. I never put on my macro spikes or even took out my ice axe. I just, did some feet glissading, but it was very, very simple. We took the dip in the lake, realized that cold plunging is, as suspected, not something for me, and then finished up here. Like I said, there's some smoke in the air, but Chad checked for me, and this fire is nowhere near us. It's just wind blowing the smoke to us. But yeah, today was phenomenal. It was so beautiful. I think my favorite part was actually coming down from Forester Pass. There was a pretty ridge, and this was before the smoke really became a big deal, but it was absolutely gorgeous. I did get a little bit grouchy in the afternoon after leaving the lake, because there was a lot of, the trail became just tiny little rocks, that it was hard to avoid stepping on them, and were in a way that they were causing pain to my broken foot. Not anything serious, of course, by any means, but just when the trail is literally full of like 4 to 6 inch rocks, you can't not step on them in a weird way. That causes some pressure. So that caused me to be a little bit grouchy, but then it switched back to dirt, and I was doing much better and flowing much better along the trail. But I'm tired and hungry, so I'm gonna go make dinner and go to bed, but I'll briefly show you the area. So far it's only me, Jocelyn, and Colgate that are here. Of course, Vicky and Cole are planning to come here, and the other tram line 6 may or may not. I don't know how we'll all fit, but here's the area. And my tent is up there. So at night with the bear canisters, we stack them all away from the tents, and usually there ends up being a giant accumulation of them, of anyone who's at the campsite. Good morning from day 30. Oh, my face is very swollen. Good morning from day 30. It is town day and time to see Chad. I'm just getting ready in my tent. Today is the first day in about 3 or 4 days that I've woken up and everything has actually been dry for once. My sleeping bag is dry, my clothes are dry, tent is dry. It is amazing. I've started packing up very little bit, but this is basically what my tent looks like in the morning. I basically unpack my backpack every night and then repack it every day, but because I have so little stuff, it's super easy, but kind of looks like a mess.
Goodbye, everybody.
I got to go. I gotta leave. We are coming down off of Kearsarge Pass, which means we have about 4.5 miles to get to the trailhead where Chad will meet us. Then plan is to go to Independence on the way, and that's where we'll probably stop for some food and then definitely some ice cream. Drop off Vicky and Jocelyn, that's where they plan to stay. And then Chad, I, and Cole will continue to Bishop. Cole doesn't know where he's staying yet, but Chad and I have a hotel in Bishop for the next 3 nights. This is the kind of terrain that is horrible for my foot, because no matter how carefully I step, there's no way to avoid stepping on a rock that's gonna just put exactly the right pressure where my bone is broken and cause some pain. But thankfully And hopefully it's only a short section and we'll be back to the dirt. The trailhead is down there and I see Chad's car in the parking lot. Less than a mile.